In this video on how to organize a wine tasting party, you will learn about how many people to invite to the party, how to select the theme, what items to prepare, how to organize the tasting and scoring, and how to taste the wine. When you plan for a wine tasting party, the optimum number of people to invite will be from 12 to 16 or 4 to 6 couples. Taste 3 to 6 wines per flight, maximum of 2 flights. So you might want to choose 1 white flight and 1 red flight. When you select a theme for a wine tasting party, you might want to compare different wines from the same grape or region, compare different years of the same wine, compare different wines from the same winery, compare different regions or production techniques in the same basic wine, compare storage or serving methods. For example, do 4-year-old magnums taste different from 4-year-old bottles or from 4-year-old splits? You might want to compare New World wines versus Old World wines. Compare wines of the same variety from different wine regions of the world. Consider the time of the year when you plan the theme as well. In July, you might want to try tasting a white wine, and in winter, you might want to try a heavy red instead. You might want to try vertical tasting versus horizontal tasting, and you might want to set a price range of the wine you're going to taste for that night. For example, maybe $20 to $30 a bottle would be a good idea. Items to prepare for your wine tasting party would be unsalted crackers, bread, bottled water at room temperature. Do not use any ice water because this may numb your taste buds and affect your wine tasting. Wine opener, spit buckets, pens and score sheets, wine glasses 12-ounce capacity or bigger, hors d'oeuvres and 6 complimentary cheeses, dessert and a dessert wine, fruit, great selection of music, some soft lighting or candlelight to bring out the color of your wine, creative table decorations, souvenirs, and maybe a small prize for a blind tasting winner. How do you give the wine that you taste a score? To give the wine that you taste a score, look at its appearance, aroma, body, taste, and finish. Score each category on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 is poor and 5 is outstanding. The lowest rating for any wine will therefore be 5 points, and the highest rating will be 25 points. Sum up the points and announce the results. Now watch the next video for a demonstration on how you should taste the wine.
I'm going to tell you about the steps of wine tasting. People love to go wine tasting, and we talk about wine tasting all the time. And tasting actually has a few steps. The first thing in tasting a wine is you want to look at it. You look at it for many different things. You look at it for clarity. You look at the color. You look at the color intensity, and you can swirl the wine in the glass and watch the way it kind of drips down the side. All of that is just the step of looking at a wine. In other words, the sense of sight. The second thing you want to do is swirl the wine and then smell it. Now, smelling is the most important part of wine tasting because there's over 600 different aromas that have been identified in wine. So you can spend most of your time smelling. I used to give a class called Wine Smelling, and no one ever came though. So the next step is to taste it. Take a little bit of wine in your mouth, about a teaspoonful, maybe a teaspoon and a half. Make sure you move it all around your mouth. While the wine is in your mouth, draw a little bit of air in, swallow, and then exhale. You might find this a little bit embarrassing, but it's what you have to do. Let me demonstrate. After you taste the wine, you draw your attention to the wine's aftertaste, or those impressions on your palate that exist after you swallow and exhale. That's the finish. Then the last thing you want to do is you want to kind of sit back and just notice your overall impressions of the wine. Try to put those into words, and you'll have done the perfect sequence of wine tasting.